Welcome, FlipoClock fans, to another episode of What Have I Got Myself Into this time. So what we've got here is a Panasonic RC-6493, and it's plugged in. We're going to check the radio out. Alright, it's got a good sound to it. The potentiometers here are scratchy, but I think that's going to fix up well. You can see this thing is really filthy. We've got some damage here. I'm already starting to think of how to possibly fix that. I've got some ideas. These are, I believe if I remember, these are actually green lights and a green light in here too. Those are going to have to be replaced. The clock has not flipped yet, so that's a bad sign. So if I remember correctly, we're just going to have to undo these screws back here to get into it. The Panasonic RC-6493 was known as the Hanford. They considered it a deluxe model, FM/AM, day, date, calendar, digital clock radio. It had a 60-minute sleep timer, automatic shutoff. It had a music or a gentle chirp alarm wake up. It had an extra wink nap bar. It has an alarm indicator light. It has an unusual tape dial for the station selection. It came with a earphone and there was an optional pillow speaker. It started showing up in advertisement in 1973. By 1975 it was priced at $69.95, and that's a high dollar FlipoClock radio. In today's dollars, that's about $425. Well, here we are. So these types of clocks, these are built like a tank, and they're a little difficult to take apart. So if you're looking at this video for how to get this thing apart, it does take a little time. And if you are doing a clock of your own, I recommend that you take your own videos and pictures too, because you might misplace things or have a trouble remembering which screw goes where. So we need to get this off. We're going to work on these potentiometers. We're going to get those so they're not so scratchy. So what you're looking at on these potentiometers, and that's your volume controls and your tone and all that stuff, is you'll see an opening there, and you'll want to spray in some sort of electrical cleaner. I've had good results from this stuff. There's other kind of stuff. So what you're going to do is to get your stuff in here and just squirt it in there, and then work it back and forth. And I'm going to get a probably some compressed air and get the excess out of there. So you see I'm just working it back and forth, and that's how you get rid of the scratchiness on the volume. When you turn the volume, and it does that. Now a lot of people don't realize how simple that is. Here we can see one of the bulbs over here, but again, we're going to have to take everything apart. Everything's got to come out, so I just got to start plugging away. The cord here, right now we're just going to cut loose. Needs a good bath. Alright, so there we are, stage 2. We've got everything apart. We've got to... There it is. Now, I don't think this was malfunctioning, but I don't remember, and they always do anyway. So the place to clean the AM/FM selector is right there. So just like that. You'd be surprised, that right there will get a lot of people's clocks started. Now this is really cool. It's like a film that goes over top. where the bulb is back here. Again, it goes through a green filter. You see that there? Green plastic filter. Because everything's green on this clock. It's really pretty once they're back together. Okay, so that's it. End of stage 2. I'll clean this up off camera. Okay, so what we can check here, first of all, is that nothing blew up. I did resolder the wires to the back of the circuit board temporarily. So we're going to check that. Now we're going to check the radio. So there's two things I'm looking for. This light should light on when the alarm is on. It's not only on, it's actually set. So let's... Okay, there. So that means the alarm is on. When we turn the radio on, that light should come on back under there. It's made to go on dim. The amount of volts that they're sending down there is not enough to fully power that light, but that's what they want. It'll make it last longer as well. There's no need to change that. If you did have to change that, it's generally going to be a number 46, 6.3 volt, 0.25 amp. We do know that these bulbs they're actually powered. You can see a little hint of green, so they are green lights. And then the light that goes into this inside of there, which is going to be a challenge, it is green as well. So I've got the green replacements. You can find them online. I don't have a link to it. I happen to have acquired these vintage bulbs. They seem a little smaller than the other, but this is actually the perfect size to go inside of there. This will work great here. They put out a good bit of light. So this is my replacement bulb. Got those from Poland years ago. A giant box of them. So it's really come in handy. So now, this situation here. Oh, but anyway, so that works really good now. The volume's not popping and scratchy. This thing here, you have a selector in there, and you get that from the other side. You'll squirt some stuff in there, some of your electrical contact cleaner. Alright, so we have a non-flipping clock, and usually these go counterclockwise. So we're going to take this down. I'm going to hit power down. I just have a little 5.5 millimeter socket that works really good. Okay, so it is stiff. It's really stiff. That's not even about to start working. So what do is you use a real light oil, so it's going to get down in there and make things happen. And basically all you're doing is you're trying to get the see if we'll have a motor. So this is underneath there. This is what it looks like, and a lot of people imagine there's something moving there, that this is all turning. It's not. That's just a coil, and there's just a hole. So I'm trying to drop oil down the back side, right here. I'm going to drop it down, and I'm trying to drop it down to where it hits there. A normal motor that's in good condition should be spinning freely like that, and you can see we're not even close. So it's going to take time. That's a whole lot of precious time to get in there, and let's see if we can get in here. And it's going to take patience and time to do it right. So we're going to drop that down in there, and it's going to take, like I said, a whole lot of time. This is a tight motor. It's sometimes they'll pulse. What I mean by that is the can will move in and out like that, and this don't move at all. And I will do that to pulse it in there a little bit. This ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna do it. Now that's spinning just enough. It's not even close though. You can tell it's a lot better. Now that's spinning just enough that if I power on, it might start. Now that's what we're hoping for at this stage. If we don't get that, then we're in trouble. Alright, it's powered on. you go. It's like starting up old Model T. Okay, I've stumbled upon something that really, really worked, and I want to share that with you and see what you think. So I wanted to break this loose, and I talked about different ways to do that. I was having trouble with it. So here's what I used. This is a lubricant that's got a long history. It's got a good reputation. So what I did was I just got in here and I flushed that out. I just got into it. I didn't hold back. Now that's not going to hurt anything in there. As we talked about before, all you've got in there is a coil and a little hole there for your arbor, for your spinner. And then after that, I want to take some compressed air. And get the excess out of there. Now, if you do this, be careful. You don't want to get into some weird situations and messing things up in there. So anyway, what do we got? Check it out. It just won't stop. Now let's see, as soon as I plug it in, it takes off right away. So I'm very, very pleased with that. I'm really surprised too. Now watch this. That's what's supposed to happen. You can stop it. It should start right away. So this situation is looking really good. So what we're looking at now is how to replace these bulbs. Now you could just try to replace the bulb. So you could try to do that. Now if you do replace the bulb, you got to change up the resistor. These are definitely green bulbs. The other option is to do the whole unit and then replace it back here. I'm going to probably do that. So I've made up new units. This is really high quality stuff. This is mil-spec wire, and this is the original tubing, the original type tubing, and then there's a clear tubing in there. Now the only thing that's not retro, and they would have used it if they had it, and that's a shrink wrap. So you could just leave that wire bare, but just a double regard against short circuit, I've put shrink wrap on the second lead. So I'm going to replace that. Of course, if you notice these bulbs are a little smaller, but I'm telling you the effective light is the same. But I'll have to take this little thing here, it's perfectly made for it, push that in a little bit so that it puts the bulb right over the center, right where I want it, you see? So I'm going to replace with these. Now this is going to be a challenge. This situation here puts a light inside of the alarm selector. It is a green light. There's a screw here, here, and then there's a nut here and here that has to be taken off. So first, I'll just undo this. This is just a hold back. Alright, now we do have to take this E-clip off of here. So what it's doing is it's picking up the motion of the time as it's passing and moving this so that your sleep gets released. Okay. Okay, so there we go. We're doing pretty good now. We want that nut to pull out. That's good. Okay, so you see we got this nice little bulb that we're going to replace with this one. This here, this is your clackety clack. So when getting this back on, we have to make sure we pull this down. It's under spring, and it's gonna click along there. So when you advance your alarm, you'll hear that like that. And what that's doing is that's stopping it from going backwards. And plus it makes that nice little clickety click sound, which is more important. So there it is, the Hanford back together. So reassembly is just the opposite. It's actually easier than disassembly. There are no extra screws from this rebuild. Everything's working great. So let's take a quick look here.
All while struggling to turn on the dishwasher. There's more to imagine when you listen. Discover.
So the radio works great without any scratchiness. That's the alarm. We'll set the alarm off. Alright, that's guaranteed to wake you up. Everything's working great. It's flipping great. I just did a little bit of minor repair here so that it doesn't draw the eye down there. It's just a little wood putty, some stain, and some polyurethane. Not a perfect match, but if you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. So there it is, one of the harder FlipoClock radios to restore. Thanks for taking the time.